have something just a little bit special, no garden tours. Instead, it is a tour of all the crazy seeds I bought. And as I've shown you, I don't have a ton of space, but for some reason, I bought a million seeds and I'm going to try to fit them in various places. So let me just take you on a little tour of my seed pile. Let's start with the thing that went in first. The packets are a little bit worse for wear, but we've got my peas. We have the Burpiana Early and the Progress 9. And I got both of these because they are very early, because I need to have a very protective garden, and peas are great, but I don't need them for that long. And these are just two of the earlier varieties. The Burpiana, I think you get more peas and they're very prolific, and with the Progress 9 you get bigger pods with bigger peas. So two different things trying out already in the garden. Another early thing that has gone in but has not done terribly well is my lettuce, and I have three varieties that I put in. First is Little Gem, then we have Black-Seeded Simpson, and we have finally Rouge de Vert Heirloom Red. Little Gem, I tried to start them early so I could have little things that could go in. I have had nothing grow. Even when I started them inside, when I did them outside, nothing has grown. And I thought these were supposed to be really easy to grow. And I got them because they were container friendly. So I was like, oh, we're just gonna have these great, self-contained heads of lettuce. But no, it has not worked. Black-Seeded Simpson, which is like a curlier leaf lettuce, that has come up in the garden. So I'm happy with that. And they're supposed to be tender and delicious, so I'm excited about that. Rouge de Vert, I've had a few come up, and they're these really cute little mini lettuces with red leaves, and so I wish more had come up from that, but they haven't. So I went to the store and a local farm and got some pre-started leaf lettuces, so I will be putting those in sometime in the next day or so that I will actually have lettuce growing in my garden. Something that has been growing very well are my radishes, because who can mess up radishes? Apparently not me, so thank God. I have three varieties in there right now. French Breakfast, which are these sort of long, thin radishes, and I just really liked the name. And they're supposed to have sort of a delicate flavor, which is good. So I think I'll probably eat these ones raw, and I'm excited because those are already up in the garden. We also have the Giant of Sicily, and I got these because they're supposed to be like 2 inches, which is, I think, pretty good for a radish. And they say they're tasty, and they're Italian seeds, so I am always happy with my Italian seeds. The other thing I got was Early Scarlet Globe as just kind of like a standard radish. It seemed to come up pretty early, and it also says it's mild and tasty, so maybe I will just eat these ones raw too. I want some radishes for pickling, and I have 2 whole rows of them, one earlier and one later, so hopefully I will have some for pickled radishes. So that's sort of the stuff that's already in the garden. The rest of the stuff has yet to go in or is in seedling form. So let's start with perhaps the squash. So last year I just started my squash in the garden, and it did okay. My pumpkins had these really long vines, and I only got like 2 actual pumpkins from them. So I tried to find squash that were more self-contained and would go up the trellises that I have out there. So they're like sort of tiny little individual fruits that hopefully will stay better in the space that I have. So the 2 I wanted to go for were Burpee's Butterbush. They are container friendly, so that means they're not going to grow that big, and they just look like sort of mini butternut squashes. I think that sounds good to me. And then the other one that I got is called Sweet Dumpling. And these are supposed to be so tasty, so delicious, have sort of very contained vines. So they seemed like the perfect one for me. And I think they're supposed to be pretty prolific too. But these seeds that I got from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, which have been sort of hit and miss for me this year, I planted them twice in pots to get them started. Nothing has come of them. I sort of did a little excavation of my last ones, and I saw a little one that had started, but I don't have much hope for it. So I was sad about that. So I went out and got the same type, but by a different company, Botanical Interests, which have not always done great for me, but we'll try. It says it has a delicious flavor and beautiful exterior, make it both edible and ornamental. So I started some more of these, and if that comes to nothing, or maybe even if it does come to nothing, I'm going to be planting them just directly in the ground as well. So we'll see how my squash do. Related to the winter squash, I also have summer squash here somewhere. My summer squash. These are what I did last year. I had leftover seeds. I wasn't really expecting to do some zucchinis, but the Black Beauty, the plant that I did get last year, I really liked. It just didn't live very long. So I have a container that I'm going to try to grow this in. We'll just see how it goes, right? That's how I roll. This is like a bush thing. I think all zucchinis are pretty much bush plants, so it's very self-contained. But other vined creatures I have that are growing will be this lemon cucumber, which I picked up on a lark when I was at Home Depot, and I've started growing these in pots. And I don't know much about them. I didn't research them beforehand, but they're just so cute. And I'm not a huge fan of cucumbers, but I will be growing them. So they're really tiny little yellow balls looking like lemons. So we'll see how that turns out. Finally, in the vine section of this was also something I got on a lark. I don't know why I do this. I don't have the space, but Sugar Baby watermelons. I've started these just probably a little too late to grow them inside, but I don't know. I will try them out, see if they grow in the little pots that I put them in. If they don't, I'm going to plant them outside as well on my trellis. It says they are compact vines. That's all the stuff I was looking for. An icebox type of melon, widely adapted, produces an abundance of small 8 by 8.5 inch fruits. Rind is tough, thin, dark green, and has very sweet, firm, bright red flesh with small dark brown seeds, and matures in 75 days. So that sounds good to me, and hopefully it will grow, unlike the cantaloupe disaster of 2016, in which I got a tiny gross melon. So hopefully I will be able to feed them and get them enough sunlight and enough water to make them actually go and work. But the rest of the things I grew, I had great success with tomatoes, peppers, and sunflowers last year. So I have an abundance of those that I am going to be planting this year. So let's start with the peppers. And I'm going only for hot pepper varieties. I might pick up maybe a green pepper at plant at the store. But I got 2 varieties of hotter peppers. Poblano, which are not super hot. They are really good for a lot of recipes, and when you let them mature and they get sort of like this deep red color, and you can actually dry those and turn that into chili pepper or chili powder, which I use a lot of. So I'm really excited for these this year. The other seed, which I got, which was much more spicy, the Tabasco, and I just wanted a really hot pepper just because I do a lot of Mexican cooking, so this seemed like good. And if you can see the little picture there, they look like such cute plants with all these peppers growing, so I want this because it'll be prolific and spicy and delicious. So those are the peppers. Tomatoes, a lot of tomatoes that I'm going for, so let me gather them all. First things first, I had to bring out my Principe Borghese, which I just grew just because I found these seeds hidden in my mom's seed stash. I grew these last year, and I think they were one of the most prolific plants that I grew last year, and I had 3 of them, and they taught me that I could grow tomatoes from seed, which I've never done before, and also that they did pretty well in little buckets that I had. So these are a vine type, so they're indeterminate, and they are fruits that are probably about this size, and they taste pretty good. And I'm growing some more of those again this year. See if the seed still, well, the seed I know still works. It doesn't work as great as new seed because it's from 2011, but I have seedlings started with this already. Next is the Burpee Super Steak Hybrid. Last year I didn't have a lot of sort of big beefy tomatoes, so I wanted to try something that was a beefsteak variety. These are supposed to be 2-pound fruits, so maybe I'm going a little beyond, but I thought that was pretty cool to try. And I believe these are indeterminate as well. Next, we've got the Brandy Boy Hybrid. So this for me is going to be like the best of both worlds. They're pretty big fruits. They're supposed to be like 14 to 16 ounce fruits, but they're also so they're a beefsteak, and so they're pretty hearty, but they're also a hybrid between Brandywine tomatoes, which are supposed to be some of the tastiest tomatoes available. So we've got big, tasty tomatoes. Hopefully they'll be great. The seeds have worked pretty well. I've got 3 little plants, so I'm happy with those. Next, Baby Boomer Hybrid. These are a cherry tomato, but they're a determinate plant, so they're really good for the patio and at my planters. So I'm just gonna have a bunch of these little plants, and hopefully they'll give me an abundance of little cherry tomatoes. Excited about that. Next, this was a surprise for me that I just got in the store. They are Cherokee purple, so I don't know a ton about them. The back says they will be a surefire conversation starter with fellow gardeners. Originally grown by Cherokee Indians, it has a smoky, sweet flavor enjoyed for 100 years. The indeterminate vine bears 10 to 12 ounce tomatoes with a pink purple flesh, and they're disease tolerant. So excited for those. Seem like they might be a really good variety. Purple did me well last year. I had those little indigo rose tomatoes. These seem to be sort of more of a hefty tomato, so I'm excited for that. Finally, in the tomatoes, probably the one that I'm looking forward to maybe the most is this. It's just a sad little package, but these are Sunrise Bumblebee tomatoes, and they are red and yellow tomato, cherry size, weighing under an ounce, and they are supposed to be some very tasty, tart, sweet tomatoes. So they're going to be really pretty and really tasty and really great. So I have a really big tomato, some sort of medium-sized tomatoes, and a couple of cherry tomatoes. So I think we should be all set in the tomato front. But if we weren't, we have these, which is tomatillos, which I got just yesterday because I decided I wanted to be able to make a salsa verde, which you make with tomatillos, which are very similar to tomatoes. They've got this husk that grows around them. This variety is called pineapple, and it says, feeling fruity? Try this tomatillo for its slightly sweet pineapple flavor. It makes everyday salsa exotic. So I started these today, and I think they should be really, 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 really great. On the back it says, Add this to your favorite sauce and try in dishes that include mango, pineapple, or avocado. Tomatillos prefer growing conditions similar to tomatoes because they're related, but will handle a lot more heat. Not that we have a lot more heat here, but whatever. Grows quickly and produces in both southern and northern climates. Grow 2 or more plants to ensure a robust crop, which makes me think they're not going to have a lot of actual fruit on them, but we'll see what happens. And I should have space for it, hopefully. We've got my non-vegetable section, which is mainly sunflowers and herbs. So this year we have some leftover solar eclipse seeds, and I can't remember if I got any of these to grow last year, but I'll try them again this year. I think I did. I think they didn't look the way I thought they would, but I got some seeds, so I might as well use it. The new ones that I bought this year, I wanted really tall ones that gave me a lot of seeds, and then anything interesting I found. And this was an interesting one I found, which is a red sunflower. 6-inch flowers in brilliant red, gold, yellow, rust, and burgundy. Blooms over a long period, makes a wonderful display. Tall 7-foot plants are favorites. So this makes me think that it's a branching variety, which I loved having last year. Then we have Mammoth Gray Stripe. Giant among sunflowers is a fast grower that can reach 12 feet tall and produces one 10 to 12 inch flower. Not fussy about soil. It's very easy to grow and drought tolerant, which I'm going to be probably doing these in a place where there is not a lot of water retention in the soil, so that's good. And they give really nice seeds, so we'll try that. We have another giant one. This one's even bigger. This is called Kong Hybrid, a giant sunflower with a twist. This towering variety produces loads of classic 10-inch across plumes of multi-branch stems. So this one produces just one. This one produces super tall things, but a bunch of different flowers for 10-inch across blooms. So I wanted to try the 2 different varieties. And then finally, this was just one that I picked up at the store. It's called the Tiger's Eye Mix from Seeds of Change. So this says tender annual 6 to 8 foot plant, 4 to 8 inches across. Stunning mix of yellow, gold, bronze, and maroon multi-branch flowers. So it just seemed great, and it says it's for bees, so I would just pick this up. And they looked very different from any of the other ones. They don't have like the huge seed pods in the middle, so that was another one. And then finally, my herbs. I started already growing these inside. My basil. This is called Italian Genovese because it's supposed to be the best for pesto. And I found that last year my basil smelled really, really great, but the flavor of the leaves themselves was not so great. So I'm going to try something different. Common thyme. We killed our thyme over the winter, so I'm just growing just some more thyme because we always need thyme, right? Tarragon. Planted this in the fall. And hopefully it'll make it out to the garden again. Italian dark green flat parsley. Our parsley is no longer coming up, so just decided to get this one, and I like that 80s flat leaf because that tastes better. Then finally, something that I am going to plant very soon, my garlic chives. We had one of these last year and it was really pretty and tasted very nice, so we're gonna plant more this year. So that is it. We've got a lot of stuff in the garden already, stuff in seed trays, and it's just really getting started here because it's spring. So that is it for this video. I hope you liked it, and I hope you come back for the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.